Hello out there. It looks like I got that yellow live button. Got the lighting about as good as it's going to get right now. And hello. Hello. Welcome. So glad to have you here with me, here and now. Pretty cool feeling to broadcast from my little space here in the LBC and to connect with so many of you in many parts of the world. So hello and namaste. And I'm just simmering down into now as I've been spending my morning doing some tuning of myself to get myself ready for this. Got up about, I guess about an hour and a half ago and spent some time just sitting with my hot water, and I had some coffee, sitting with my handy journal and just kind of writing to myself a little bit, getting connected to inner me, wiser me, divine me. Taking time to just get quiet and sit in stillness sure feels revolutionary in the mornings or any time of day. Listening to the sounds, just feeling the feelings, getting into now. And I did hit the yoga mat for about 15 minutes to fit in my little specific practice with the postures to even more so tune me. So I do love those postures, but that's not what these broadcasts are about so much. And I find that kind of exciting, you know, and I am still here to hook up folks with the postures when they're ready. And I love the therapy of the postures. But maybe more of us could tune into some of the vast other tools we can use to tune in and tune up. And also how much the psychology and the perspective that we're bringing is part of these practices, part of a way of life that may be a little more geared toward feeling better, enjoying our moments, having fun on the ride, getting better at allowing ourselves to soak it all in, getting better at noticing where our focus is. This is some of the big stuff. Focus, attention, awareness, to tune in more to what we're choosing there, what we're doing there. So I find this becomes a lot about how we're managing ourselves on the inside, which turns out has a pretty potent effect on the outside. And again, I'm all about empowering you, empowering me with more tools for your toolbox to really tune in and tune up to how you want to feel, how you want to experience your moments, and then yes, how you want to be vibing, knowing of course that's so related to what you're attracting, what you're creating. So I invite you to embrace the perspectives and the psychology that we can get into as part of your self-management, self-care. It's a lot about managing our energy, I find. And again, that happens so much through focus, attention, awareness, and then choosing. And choosing to respond in a way, here's where that love comes in. we talked about this week, dipping into love. More love. More love through these types of perspectives and practices. More love in our focus, more love in our attention, more love in how we're holding ourselves, more love in how we're managing our energy. And so that's a bit of the ride that we're going to move into today, is a little free-form experience with checking out some of the possibilities that we can tap into and amplify as part of our mental health, as part of our relationship care. That's big stuff. Relationship with ourselves, of course, too. Relationships with others. And even our relationship with, if we want to be thinking about something that feels more spiritual, then you start to see how love ties us all together and can really shift our gears toward what we do want, again, for ourselves and for all those humans we're loving, and animals and plants and earth and non-physical elements as well. So it seems like almost like a corny, overdone topic, love. But I've been having fun with redefining this word in my life and in my practices and in my perspectives, and just getting better at choosing love, and really even more of an unconditional love, which even that too, we've almost heard so much we don't want to hear it. But interesting to consider as we let ourselves move into unconditional love, in the power of that. So here we go. And I think I'll have less of the wild moments with the lighting this week. Last week there were some moments where like there was light behind me and my eyes closed. It was pretty groovy. So maybe we'll see how groovy we get this time. Again, I'm just so thankful that you are here and that you'd choose to tune in and factor this into your rich, full day, whether you're here live or whether you're catching the archive. Love the ease of the formats for me and you. That's a lot of why I'm doing this, just to share what I want to share in an easy way for you and me. And yes, ease, one of those parts of love that we'll get into, I think. So welcome, and thank yourself for being here as part of your connecting more with what feels like love for you, and making it a point to listen to something like this, to tune into something like this. So you're already got your focus, just that you got yourself here, and it's a big deal. So thank you so much. And yeah. So let's get a little settled in, and I think, we'll be weaving in some talk and a little bit of practice in our experience here together. Partly because that's such a part of how I function, and I imagine why some of you are here, to get some tangible tools and even feel like you get a little something that feels like practicing, so that you'll feel even better when we're done, and even more connected, more aligned, more alive, more aware, more free, more choosing. So let's come together, and how about we place our hands over the heart center there and just let ourselves settle into the seat. Some of our initial steps toward more love. More love right now, more love in how we're holding ourselves, more love in how we're experiencing this moment. So what if we translate that love into feeling more safe and at ease to just start to relax more? Gift yourself with this. And we have some of those power tools like really, really softening the face and the jaw. Really, really relaxed. And that sends that domino effect through the nervous system, relaxing your whole body every time you relax your face and your jaw. And then remember our friend Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us, smile, part of the practice. So even if you just put a little wise, tiny smile, this shifts the chemicals in the brain. How cool is that? Sending that serotonin there. That's some of what we take some of those mood meds for those chemicals, those feel-good chemicals. So here is, one of those ways you can do that for yourself instantly. Just add that little half smile and super relaxed face and jaw. And then let the rest of you just soften, maybe shimmy a little, shake it out, settle in, and allow yourself to even get a little bit still. Remember that revolutionary stillness stuff? We're also on the go and engaged in our lives, aren't we? Which is awesome. So a lot of action, a lot of doing. These practices, these perspectives remind us to balance that out with a little more intentional of the opposite, which would and could be stillness, and just learning to get more into calm in whatever moment we're in. So through some of those tools like face and jaw, checking out how much we can just soften the body and relax, consciously just softening and relaxing. It's pretty cool to check out and just play with through the day. I still notice so often when I go in, take a look at how I'm feeling through the day. There's like still these old habits I'm moving through and letting go of holding on, bracing myself, tension, tightness. And so how much can we just soften that and relax that and get more in a habit of carrying ourselves with more ease as an act of self-love? Did you get that? So that our hands and our hearts, we're relaxing more, we're getting still, we're smiling. Taking in the sounds and sights around us, getting more sensory oriented like an animal, like a yogi, and just letting ourselves take a look at how we are feeling on the inside as we get started today. What's our energy like? And right away, got to bring up the importance of that non-judgment. Can we take a look without deciding whether this is good or bad, right or wrong, what we're noticing, just where we're starting from. What's true for you at this moment? Just take a look, take a feel, take a dip, take a check-in. And that too becomes a new tool for your toolbox. Just remembering to check in with how you're feeling more. And then as you take a look with that non-judgment, playing with what you might want to shift and help feel even better. So that becomes our quest again and again to just tune in, and then a way of tuning up equals feeling better. So one of the ways we can feel better right now is just that softening, that relaxing of the body, that stillness, inviting the mind to get a little more quiet and listening. Another act of self-love there. Placing in some quiet moments for that mind so it can refresh, restore, renew, get ready for the next great idea. And we've got the hands on the heart, maybe tuning us even more into a heart space, a feeling mode, a glowing more of a love within. And remember, these practices are going right after helping us tune in to that inner you, that higher self, that God within, helping you realign yourself with that part of you. And that always equals feeling better. Pretty cool. So as we do that here together, I'm joining me with inner me. You're joining you with inner you. We're all joining together in this YouTube party. Yeehaw! Nice. Okay, so we could probably rest the hands down and maybe we'll play with... Actually, let me invite you to put a mudra in the hands for some more of our process here. This is another tool with helping us focus and choose. How about that classic mudra most of us know? Take up those hands, index finger to thumb. You've seen this one. It's the classic yogi sitting. Okay, so this mudra correlates with, as I'm doing this hand gesture, I'm intending to be connecting with that inner me, wiser me, divine me. So this equals that. So you might add that as part of your practice right now as you're sitting. Maybe the other hand's on your tea or coffee or water. So we're tuning in, we're quieting down, we're chilling it out. We're getting into some focus and taking a little look at how we're doing with that non-judgment. Let me tell you, that's something I am still growing into. Maybe you're right there with me. So yeah, you can just relax the hand down. But I think that's an important piece, this judgment. I just had a really nice, enlightening conversation with a great friend of mine the other day that really got me even more tuned into how much judgment is playing a role in our love lives. Whether it's our love with ourselves or our love with this moment or our love with feelings of spirit or guidance or support, or our love with humans in our lives. So what if we just practice more non-judgment, more just being with what is, really open with our point of views, and really embracing, I'm getting better at this too, that we're all so different, so unique. I love that. It really frees us. And to really embrace that that's the beauty of this world, is that we're all so different. We're all so unique. I love that Bashar, one of my fave teachers, talks about how we can't even compare ourselves to others because we are so different. We're all so unique that it's almost just like a waste of energy to even try to compare ourselves to anyone else. And I think this goes so well with the moving into this new way of being. And I even wonder, we talked about getting into the judgment days with some of the scriptural texts. Like maybe right now we're at a time where we're really seeing how much judgment has played a role and become part of how we function. And again, just part of the clarity, the choosing in the name of love to shift that. And maybe at the very least, just be more aware of this propensity to look at ourselves, look at things, look at others, look at life as good or bad or right or wrong, and how that influences our abilities to love. And I think probably for most of us, most of all, that reaches into how we feel about ourselves. Which that may feel or seem so self-indulgent to let it be all about how we feel about ourselves. But, oh boy, as I think we, again, embrace how it's all flowing and going, we start to see that how we feel about ourselves affects everything. I'm still growing this too. And I think, maybe some of us learned part of a wisdom and a humility would be to always be looking for our worst parts, or how we might be about to screw up, or what we're doing wrong, and to even be thinking about that on some level all the time. Like, what am I doing wrong here? What's still off about me? And if things don't happen maybe in life like we want, how does that turn into our inner dialogue? But again, if we want to get into this idea of more alignment and even more of a spiritual approach, we can start to embrace this corny vision of love as part of it. And if we want to start feeling and seeing and being more a source of love, then of course it's going to start with what's happening on the inside. I think that's a really hard one to fake. But really, I think it's pretty exciting, because a lot of us, maybe we're already being pretty loving people in the world, and that's coming from a place of still having some of this inner situation of not so loving with ourselves. So gosh, just imagine how much better it's going to get as more and more and more and more of us really tune in how we can tune in to our best selves, and to let that be through love as more of an approach, as a practice, as a way. So I do think that this non-judgment, it really just is hitting me lately, how much that can play a role in a new level of love that we might be ready for and radiating, and maybe part of this big shift that spiritual folks are talking about. We're shifting into more love. And what does that look like? So, yeah, I think the non-judgment is important. And I want to keep exploring that. How can I be with what is, and just kind of check out the points of view that roll through my own mind or through others in my life, and to just get more loving about how I'm seeing that and really factor in that non-judgment. So I think a piece of this, I heard this from, I think it was Dane here recently, talking about, especially when we're looking at love relationships, a lot of us maybe have gotten a little screwy in what we think love is supposed to be or feel like. And a lot of that ties into judgment. And so we start to love things that we think are good and not love things that we think are bad. And as we get into relationship, this can really play out in some interesting ways, that as we keep rolling through that judgment, the love perhaps can get more and more conditional. And we notice that just doesn't feel as good, does it? So the flip that I liked from Dr. Dane was, instead of thinking about it as love, because some of us might have kind of a strange old concept of that word. And I also think part of what we feel with love is that we expect it to just happen to us, and something that just like hits us. And so we either feel it or we don't, right? And if I don't feel it anymore, darn it, it's gone. I have no control over that. But this flips that. This says that love is a choice, and love is an action, and love is a way of being, and a way of thinking, and a way of expressing ourselves. And so, but the flip I liked from Dr. Dane was maybe to look at it more as appreciation. If we focus more toward how we can appreciate, for instance, a person versus love them, that might be a little bit easier and more tangible for us to get some action happening and really feel some change and some power to that. So I'm interested in that, and how closely tied appreciation and gratitude are with feelings of love, and how much choosing to focus on the appreciation and the gratitude is going to build the love. And we don't need to spend much time talking about it, but perhaps obviously, as we might do the opposite, spend time with criticism or some of the opposites of appreciation, complaint, hate even. Oh, that was interesting too, I heard from Dr. Dane, is love for a lot of us is so closely tied to hate that unfortunately it can very easily flip and start to mingle. And maybe we see this sometimes in our lovely institution of marriage. that strong feeling of love and everything you love about this person can also flip and start to become, you notice all the things you hate about this person. So that was another piece of Dr. Dane's case for focusing more toward appreciation at first, maybe, instead of just about love, because we might have so many kind of old ideas about love being this static, unchangeable, out of our hands phenomenon, and that involves so much judgment. So cool to see how appreciation and gratitude become the tools to get us back to love. Although I do still like that word love, and I think we'll still talk about that more, but next, let's get into another tool here, another practice to keep this feeling like a practice for us. But as we consider choosing, being, focusing on, filling up on more love, let's do that through the avenue of appreciation and gratitude right now. And I'm a big fan of, a big fan of the psychology of all this, and getting into looking at how we're using our words and getting real intentional with how we're using our words as part of our practices. And so I like to do that both in my head and on the page. So this is something that right now you may or may not have paper with you, so you can do it with me in your mind. And then maybe later you'll want to take it to some paper just to make it even more powerful for how that activates so much in your body when you take things to paper, pen and paper. But part of harnessing the focus, the attention back toward love through appreciation. I love some teachers I've learned from, like Julia Cameron and Natalie Goldberg and Rhonda Byrne, to get into some things like making lists as a simple way to flip the mind and really get ourselves focused toward what we do want. So one great one can be just, and you've probably heard of this, but it's an excellent tuning tool, and every time I use it I'm amazed at how much better I feel instantly. But to just start to list to ourselves on paper or in our minds, what are we thankful for, and even why. So we can make this real general by just starting to list 5 or 10 things that we're super thankful for right now in our lives. And it's really nice to even like say or think or write, I am so thankful for this moment with you here on YouTube. That'll be mine right now. And then it's really powerful to add because. So I am so thankful for this moment with you on YouTube because it feels like such a great way for me to share what feels important and what I want to give to you, and it's so easy and fun and free. And then I might even follow that up with thank you, thank you, thank you. So starting to list 5 or 10 things that we're thankful about today, at this moment. Real simple, specific stuff. It could be, I'm so thankful that I'm breathing easily this morning, because not everybody in the world is having an easy time breathing right now. So we can do that real generally as a way to instantly start tuning up the mind, tuning up the focus, tuning up the vibe. You'll be amazed at how much different you feel. And one more thing you can add in here, I don't want to forget this, I'm doing this more and more, is if you do have and like to bring in the feelings of a spiritual connection with all of this, and you have some words you like to use to describe that, whether it's God or spirit or source or Jah or the Tao or the force or life or inner me or my angels, whatever you want to call it, you can say thank you God, or thank you inner me, or thank you life for this, and then because, and then followed up with that thank you, thank you, thank you. And so this can be a practice we do, like, okay, I'm going to sit down and do my appreciation stuff, and or it's something we can do in the moment at the grocery store, in a conversation, and even especially if we're not feeling so great. It's a super awesome tool to immediately start to shift. And it is, these practices are a lot, again, about attention, focus, awareness. And this is where it comes in. Super awesome. Get it? We get to do this. Woohoo! So, listing our appreciations generally, and then even more specifically, I love that we can use this with a relationship, a person, and even especially if we're having any issues or conflict or feelings just don't feel good with someone in our lives. A really great way to start to change that and tune that is making a list like this about that person and using it. So this really gets into how we are creating what we're focusing on, we are creating what we're attracting more of, and we are the bomb. We are creating it all. So if you keep rendezvousing with that grumpy version of this person you love, I've been working on this too. I'm getting comfy here. Try a tool like this. Start taking time to make yourself a list of the things you're thankful for in this person and why. And do that same process. Thank you, my husband Greg, for being such a caring, passionate, expressive father, because I appreciate all that you bring to our lives. And so what this does is builds my good feelings, my good focus about this relationship, about this person, and starts to help me rendezvous more with that. Because you know, we've all heard whatever we focus on becomes stronger. So in relationships, we really start to see this, especially in long-term, deep relationships. We start to see it's all about what we're focusing on. And remember that judgment stuff? So, use the list, use the flip, whether you do it in your mind or on the page, and especially if you have a relationship that you'd like to tune. And just try this several days in a row and see what happens. Notice that you're having different moments with this person. Notice that you're focusing on what you appreciate in them instead of what makes you crazy or what you hate or what drives, you know, what pushes your buttons. And that's, again, where the focus, the attention, the psychology comes in with this, and our power to make it all better without even having a conversation with that person about this. It's very different approach. It gives us a chance to own it all and to create more of what we do want, especially with people we do love. Isn't that just the greatest? So thank you to my child, to my dog, to my mother, to my partner, making that list with the because and the thank you, thank you, thank you. Do it for you, and then watch how the relationship shifts. So cool. I love this. And my saying that helps me want to share that obviously another related way to do this is also to talk about, think about, write about what we love as a way to get more in tune with love. And this becomes a habit and a practice, but we notice it feels really good when we talk about what we love, when we think about what we love, when we do more of what we love. And again, it really tunes us. And if we need to visit the opposite, when we talk about what we hate, when we talk about what we don't like, when we focus on that, what does that create? So, choosing love in our focus by talking about what we love, focusing on what we love, doing what we love, making a list, again, if you want to do it on paper or in the head, of things you love in your life, things you love about a person, things that you love to do, and then making it a point to do more of that. Again, to consider, that image of filling up the cup so it's overfloweth. Fill up your cup with the things, the moments, the people, the thoughts that you love, and watch the love that you're ready to bring from there. So again, a lot of this is just a practice and some new habits, but worth it. Very worth it. Let's invite you to, let's do a little breath practice real quick here, shall we? To come back to self-love as still the core of this all, right? And a divine love of self. So just using that approach to say, I'm worth the tuning, and that's going to make me even more of a vessel of love. So let's use one of these fun tricks from practices like yoga, like breath, shall we? So you could just put your hand on your belly and take a big belly breath to give yourself a lot more oxygen and energy and love. And then breathe it all out because you deserve to let it all go. Keep practicing that relaxing, a softening, and easing, a quieting as an act of self-love, as a love of this moment. And so how about we'll do kind of a high-tech breath practice just to see what we can shift. It'll be fun. It'll just take a minute or so. Let's try the alternate nostril breath together, shall we? Just to mix it up. Let's do it. Little self-love with the breath. And this breath exercise is known to really nicely balance out left and right sides of the brain. It's going to refresh the brain. It's going to balance out the nervous system and just get us more calm, centered, and relaxed. So if you're a little sinusy today, you might just wait this one out and chill. But if you're feeling up for it, let's do this nice and easy and relaxed and just make some shifts, help ourselves feel even better so we can bring that love. So you'll take your hand, jazz hands, and then we're going to make a mudra. Well, actually, it can be just, sorry, the hang loose mudra. What's up, bra? Got to do a little California action here, yeah? So that can work. Or if you want to get more technical, the mudra would be, oh, where is it? Ring finger and pinky are out, thumb is up, and the index finger ring are in. You see that? Weird yogi things we do. Remember that focus, attention? All right, so we're going to use the thumb, whether you're hanging loose or doing the even more funky mudra. And sit up nice and straight and relaxed. Little half smile. Little inner listening. All right, let's block that right nostril. And we're going to take a slow breath in through the left one, all the way up in. And now use the ring finger pinky to block the other nostril and breathe out the right side, slow and long. Your eyes can be open or closed. Breathe in again now on that right side. Block the right, exhale left. Nice. Again, inhale left side. Block the left, exhale right. And inhale right side one more time. Block the right, exhale left. Groovy. Drop the hand, big breath in through both nostrils. And breathe it all out. And just give yourself a normal breath. And exhale it all out again. I look so groovy doing this stuff online. Okay, so notice how you feel. A little more settled, a little more relaxed, a little more at ease, a little more ready for love. Can you do that? So it's funny because I always wonder if, do I really have an hour's worth of stuff? And it's already been 45 minutes. So more about love. More about focusing on love. Feeling love, being love. And if we want to get into for a moment the feelings about what we might call spirit and source energy and even God, non-physical presence, everything mystical and magical around us. What if we let ourselves get into this idea that there's love and well-being all around us? And what if we really let ourselves feel this feeling that we're always being guided, taken care of, supported, even starting to notice how everything always works out, how lucky we are, how blessed we are. Doing this sort of a reality check. Checking in, are we in the reality we choose? And how much can we shift that reality by just softening into more love? Focusing into more love. Factoring in more love. Feeling into more love. Freeing up more love. This is good stuff. And maybe just more quiet, more moments of here and now, as some of that love. And getting into loving this moment more, honing in on the great parts of now, what's beautiful in now, what feels good right now, whether that's something around us, in our environment, in this beautiful physical world, on this awesome planet, or whether that's something we're noticing inside of us as good thoughts roll through. Great feelings. And there, even that feels like a little bit of that judgment. But I like if we can just let this be more about guidance, and that you have the power to feel out what's right for you, and that what's right for you may be very different than what others choose, and this is something to celebrate. Variety. And I think just to realize how powerful we are, and how much love can fill us up, and how much we can even play with feelings of love. And this idea that we're big balls of light, radiating, transmitting, expressing, vibrating. And if we like to feel how so much of that power comes from that heart center, and even imagine and feel that we have this like ball of light there, this powerful surging energy, and if we want to call it love, it's a traditional yogi practice to just spend time focusing on that feeling there and letting ourselves imagine the light beaming out, transmitting to everything around us, going across the planet. So we could be doing this instead of worrying about something or imagining what we don't want. We can be just imagining right now ourselves as this beam of love, beaming it out. And play with how, as we relax, breathe more, focus more, smile more, that beam, we can feel it start to get stronger and start to beam out more. And we now know it really does beam out and touch everything around us. And that our signal is just as powerful and even more powerful than like a cell phone signal. So yes, this ties in to what we're thinking, how we're focusing, what's happening in that mind. And then weaving that in with more feelings from the heart. And just letting ourselves get more feeling oriented as some of this love in action. Feeling how we feel through our days, checking in, how we doing. Finding ways to feel better. Finding ways to feel the magic of unique right now. Don't let it slip by and being so busy in our minds, we miss it. And playing with how we can hone that focus and really affect how we feel through the love mindset, love vibration. So we can remember tie that right in with appreciation and thank you, and using that as a tool, whether it's with a specific topic that we want to shift how we feel, with a specific person, and back to ourselves. And I feel like maybe there's more to say about the love on the inside and how we're handling ourselves. And I like the idea of some teachers like Louise Hay to just take time each day to look in the mirror, look in our own eyes, and say something which might seem so silly and crazy, but like, I love you, Laura Jane. You're so great. I love you because... But yeah, how would more of us feel if we addressed ourselves with more love? If we allowed ourselves more of what we love? I'm still growing that too. I mean, I do fit in a lot of things I love each day, but there are so many things I love that I am not fitting in still. So I think I too will make another list after this of all the things I love to do and see and experience in life. And as part of my love for myself, my love for this life, do more of that. What a concept. And to just recognize and realize that I'm the tuner here. You're the tuner of you. I'm the tuner of me. And truly that whatever we're tuning into is what we're going to find. Whether that's within ourselves, within our relationships, within our moments, within our realities. And that the more we choose to tune it up, here's the big news, the superhero news, that we can tune it up and it all gets better. Believe it? I do. And we see how much tuning it up, tuning me up, tuning you up, helps everything thrive and function and flow, whether this is our health, our relationships, our realities, our projects, our thoughts. Tuning the mind to more love, tuning the focus to more love, tuning the body to more love. Maybe with just being even more loving with what we put in our bodies. See our eating as an act of self-love. I think I could focus on that even more. And again, just how we're holding ourselves. Shifting that as an act of self-love. Because we do know teachers like Bruce Lipton really getting us in tune with this idea that our consciousness is in all of our cells, and we have cells all over our bodies. And so whatever we're thinking and feeling is affecting every single cell, every single organ, every single system. So what does that feel like to the liver, to the heart, to the intestines, to the kidneys, to the thyroid, for instance? When we're focusing on feelings, thoughts that don't feel so good, when we're holding ourselves in that uptight way, when we're judging ourselves and not loving ourselves, what is that doing on the inside and on the outside? But here's the flip. Love the flip. What's it doing on the inside when we ease more into calm, chill love now? What's that doing to all those cells when we think about what we love, when we focus on what we appreciate, when we talk about what we love, when we do more of what we love? How much is that changing the inner state, the inner health, the inner focus, and of course, again, what we're realizing, noticing, experiencing? Well, I think it's all great news. I'm going to judge it as great. I guess I still like to use that judgment if it works for me. But, you know, that's where it's fun. Teachers like Michael Beckwith will say, something wonderful is always on the verge of happening. And Kevin Trudeau reminds, everything's always working out for me. Abraham Hicks. So how can we be even more loving? How can we bring more love into our days, into our perspectives, into our responses, into our choices, into our projects, into what we're creating? How cool of stuff do we create when we create it from love? From loving ourselves, from loving the concepts, from loving the possibilities, from loving each other. Well, this is certainly my musy pleasure to have time to just get into this, feel this out, help us all focus and feel more of what we do want, and to recognize how love is one of our tools and all these ways we can bring it into our words and actions and practices and perspectives, how much love ties into appreciation, and then it's all a delicious choice. Such a choice. And we see that, I think, most clearly within maybe a love relationship that maybe we chose years ago. Can we still choose love within those situations, those relationships, and how can we tune everything up with more of a love groove? So more of what we love, more of loving ourselves, more loving now, more loving what's been and loving what's coming. And loving that we have the choice. The choice. Love as a choice and a practice. So worth it. I really love being here with you. Thank you for tuning in and being on this love ride with me. Pretty darn great. So let's just close, shall we? Check out how we're feeling, how we're holding ourselves. If we could soften and relax more into a feeling of love, a love of now, a love of ourselves for being here, tuning in, recognizing our power, owning it. And may we absolutely love our ways through our days. I'm so thankful for the love choice. I'm so thankful for you. So thankful for you to be here learning with me. I love it. All right. So until next time, adios and namaste. Thanks. So thankful. So appreciating. So much love.